what it is. Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Knowledge. I got a real treat for you. Mark Days in the house. What's up, Mark?
How you doing, big bro?
Folks, you guys don't know Mark Days? Shit, you're about to. Mark Days is an entrepreneur right in the middle of building a massive communications company.
Yes.
A mobile device marketplace, if you will.
Yeah.
Coffee Mobile.
That's
founder
right.
and CEO of Coffee Mobile.
That's right, big dog.
And somewhat of a producer.
That's right. That's right.
Helped me make my book into an Audible book. By the way, anybody out there writing a book, need a little audio engineer? And again, not that you do this, but he's the one that helped me put Hard Way on Audible. Appreciate that, by the way.
Of course.
All right, so let's see here. Mark Days, and see, we know each other, so it's a little bit different than my normal guest, because a lot of the times, guys, I do these podcasts and I don't even get to know who's coming on, just so the conversation's real. A lot of people are like, you don't do research on your guests. And I'm like, no, because then I have some, prior knowledge, and it affects my ability to ask questions. Why? Because I ask questions that I have. But I do read the bios. Mark's the founder and CEO of Coffee Mobile, a company specializing in turning old smartphones and other technology into cash.
That's right.
Boom, turn it into cash. Coffee Mobile offers a simple and easy process for trading in devices. So, dude, you're originally from Waterbury, Connecticut.
That's right.
But now you're in V-Town.
I'm in Vegas, baby.
And most recently you were in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter the city name, Florida. That's where I was.
And then you just pulled up and moved out west.
Yeah, period. Just pulled up. Hurricanes.
All right. Now, as you know, Dropping Bombs is an entrepreneurial-based podcast with my occasional venturing into life and business.
Yeah.
Specifically, where in your business journey are you?
Middle. I'm not necessarily a novice, or I think the word might be a neophyte, but I'm kind of in the middle. I've done a lot of learning, initially through trial and error, a lot of failing. A lot of my business in particular is a very gate cut business. You're not going to find a lot of information about it. You have to dig, you have to make connections, and that's the only way you can kind of peel back the next layer. So I've uncovered what it takes to go from the beginning to the middle where I'm at, and I know how to go all the way into the stratosphere. So now it's just putting the pieces together.
Well, how'd you get into this, though?
So it initially started as just a regular transaction. I'm probably dating myself here, but there was a thing called Craigslist that has since disappeared into...
Has it?
I mean, it's pretty obsolete at this point. Nobody really uses it for anything anymore. It exists. But people don't use it.
I thought they still used it to lure people into homes and kill them.
Well, that's probably about all it's good for at this point. But
I never understood Craigslist, because you got to put your car on Craigslist, then someone's got to come see it. I like your business better, dude. No one has to see no one.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there with a phone, I always get the new phone when it comes out.
Yep.
I got the old phone sitting in there. I end up leaving it in a drawer, thinking, maybe I'll, get some pictures off of it or something in the future. And 9 times out of 10, they're in the drawers. iPads. Dude, if you went through my house, I've got iPads, laptops, and old phones just sitting there. And what you're saying is those are worth cash.
That's right. That's 100% right.
At some point, you'd think you were hustling or something. Like, how did you buy your first phone? And because basically you're buying them and then refurbishing them and then selling them on a used market.
Well, I was doing that at first, but now my strategy is a little bit different. I'm more like a wholesaler. So I'm more of a place that people buy from. I source devices and then I distribute them.
So the retailers that are selling used phones get them from you.
That's correct. They're going to end up refurbishing them and selling them to the end consumer.
So you're a supplier. Which means you have to source them and aggregate them. How do you find them? Is that the networking you were talking about?
Yes. Yes, that's the networking aspect that I was talking about. So there are a couple different ways you can get them off the street, which I still do, meaning I will still meet somebody and purchase.
Hey, we got live viewers. Some people think I'm drunk.
What?
Then the other one says game, recognize game.
Yeah, you already know that. You should know that. That's what's
right.
up. They know what time it is. Somebody out there recognizes this face from something. That's a guarantee. They probably don't know from where, but they recognize me from something.
So if I were you, I would be like preaching to high heavens because, dude, there's a lot of people that are just sitting around. They're probably $500,000-$600,000 laying around their house. At least you could turn it into cash.
Yeah, 100%. So the individual consumer, although we do specialize in buying out individuals as well, my focus is corporations. I want to buy companies out because that's the fastest, safest way to source devices. Like usually when you get a device from an individual, you have a lot to worry about. The minute they buy it, you buy it from them, they may get on the phone with T-Mobile and say, hey, T-Mobile, someone just stole my phone. So by the time it gets back to the office, the IMEI is bad, or you know what I mean? People are not very forthcoming a lot of times when you're meeting them as far as the condition and what's the real deal, how was it acquired. So you have some things you have to worry about in my business, but doing it the way I'm working on doing it now, buying out corporations and companies, that mitigates a lot of that risk. And it's better for my buyers as well because there's a thing called GT and an IMEI, which is an International Mobile Equipment Identifier. It's like your social for your phone, tells you everything about it. So when I can GT and IMEI, guarantee.
Do you know how to pull it up?
Yeah. You just go to settings, general about, if you're on an iPhone, and it'll tell you your IMEI. So if I can guarantee that it'll never go bad, that's just better for my buyers, and it's better for the end consumer that it's going to go to. So I'll never have issues with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So because I have a lot to think about, it's not just me. Once it leaves my hands, it's going to go to a retailer who's going to have to put a warranty on it to a customer. So I can't have them saying in 30 days, Verizon blacklisted the phone because it got reported stolen from someone I bought it from. So I have to ethically source these devices so the ultimate end consumer's experience is streamlined. Does that make sense?
Well, I would do it for more reasons than that, but that's an important reason to do it.
Well, I mean,
I'd do it because it's ethical.
Well, that's the only reason to do it that way. That's why we don't accept certain types of devices.
How do you get volume, though?
The corporations, auctions, different.
So like a corporation that had a bunch of samples, or like why would a corporation have a bunch of phones?
Well, a lot of them do. You'd be surprised how
like
many.
They supply their employees phones?
Correct. They supply.
And they're upgrading them all?
Exactly. Yep.
Huh.
MacBooks, iPads, all that.
MacBooks and iPads, I can see that.
Yep.
But phones, usually, someone has their own personal phone.
Well, nowadays it's becoming more prevalent that people use their personal phones for work, but that wasn't prevalent before.
So if people are listening, how do they benefit from knowing Mark Days now with Coffee Mobile? They get never buy a retail phone again? Like what would your advice be?
Yeah, I mean, you can get retail phones for wholesale prices. I mean, there's no difference between buying a phone that's refurbished and buying one from Apple for full price. They even refurbish their own phones and call it certified.
Do they have to say they're refurbished?
They call it certified.
All they're doing is replacing the glass and the casing, if anything. The phone's fine.
If that. A lot of times people go trade in their phones to Apple, and there ain't even nothing wrong with it. They're literally just wiping it down with a microfiber.
It's just old.
That's it. And it might not even be old. There might be a 15 Pro Max, and now they want the 16. And Apple's offering a so-called trade-in value, right? So now they got a brand new looking 15 Pro Max. They're going to go resell that thing for $1,000.
Or go to Coffee Mobile.
Or they can come to Coffee Mobile and get it for cheaper than that. You see, that's the key.
See, that's where I sense somewhere in your past, before you were found, and before you started building businesses, you seem like a hustler.
Yeah.
Were you hustling?
I was hustling.
What's your childhood like?
Let me see how I could say it. It was interesting.
Were you hustling at a young age?
Yeah, I was hustling at a young age. I saw a lot of stuff I really didn't have a business seeing. So hustling it's not just, hustling to a normal person is networking and running around and shaking hands. Hustling in the environment is a very specific line of work.
Well, what kind of environment? Like bad neighborhood type shit?
Yeah, bad neighborhood.
Well, then you had to avoid getting your ass kicked, getting your ass shot.
I got beat up. I've been shot at. Knives pulled. Whatever you want to call it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've also had 100 jobs too.
So what do you think is different about you versus someone else in that environment that goes the nasty route and ends up in the old penitentiary?
There is no difference. There's literally a split second decision, because some decisions sometimes.
That's a bomb.
There it is.
You know why? Because I always tell people, man, it's the choices that you make that determine the road you take.
Right.
Like, why does everybody
get one of those today? That's
what's
crazy.
that?
I didn't think I was going to get one today.
Well, why do you think everybody thinks it's so difficult, life? Because that is what the difference. There's no difference. Someone made a different decision.
Yeah.
And that led down a different path. So somebody literally is the decisions they're making away from a whole new life.
So, listen, some of us made the exact same decisions and other people got caught and some didn't.
Well, I've been there.
You understand? You can relate to that.
I've already been there.
So that's another one right there. That deserves a boom, boom right there.
Hey, which is why I always say when people start, looking down upon felons and people that have been whacked, I say everyone's a felon, just some have been caught.
Yeah, it's diabolical. You should not. Look, if we look in the background of some of these so-called upstanding citizens, we'll see some sick stuff.
You already know that.
Come on, man. Come on with it, dog.
Well, we don't want this suppressed. We're dropping knowledge now. We dropped the B word.
We don't want to get suppressed.
We learned our lesson.
Yeah,
They said, hey, you want a big audience? Why don't you shut your trap? And I'm like, oh, well, I can clean it up a little bit. See, haven't dropped a cuss word. Like, come on, man. We're not getting suppressed up in this biscuit.
Come on, dog.
Nick Diaz says, it looks like old school Rashad Evans.
Who? Nick Diaz.
Classic Hank says, street pharmacist? I mean, again, normally because what you're inferring without saying is you grew up in the hood.
That's right.
The traditional hood that like we may have seen a fraction of watching a movie like Boys in the Hood.
Oh, I mean.
But that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
How much worse was it than the movies?
I mean, the movies are sensationalized to a degree, but they're pretty accurate. But I didn't have Boys in the Hood problems because that red and blue thing wasn't prevalent when I was growing up.
The colors?
Yeah, that wasn't prevalent.
What about your parents? Were they like
upstanding,
keeping you straight?
Upstanding. Pops nowhere to be found, but my mom upstanding. Actually was an attorney.
She kept your ass out of trouble then.
Well, yeah.
But I mean,
up to a certain degree, yeah.
But you weren't like running with gangs and shit.
No. Growing up, no. I came off the porch. I was off the porch very, very young, like too young to be off the porch, and then I put myself back on the porch because I had an epiphany when I was 10 years old.
What happened?
Well, I had a very rough year. One time I got caught stealing. And
that happened to me when I was 3.
You were 3? Oh, you a thug. 3 years old stealing. I got caught stealing. And I remember being behind the counter of the store that I stole from. Because I stole alcohol, the person behind the desk tried to detain me, and they called my grandmother, rest her soul, who passed away that same year. And I just remember looking around and being like, I was doing all this stuff with other people, but I'm the only person that's behind this counter right now. And I said, bro, I don't have any friends, bro. Like, there's no such thing as friends. That's cap.
Did you want them to stay and get pinched with you?
It ain't about that. It's about if
I don't know if I'd agree. Me and you went into a store and I got away and you got caught, bro. I'd be hoping you didn't say nothing about me.
We may disagree because your environment you came from and mine is two different environments. So the moral compass is going to be different.
Yeah, but you expected them to stay and get pinched with you?
At least stay across the street to see if I got out.
They just booked it.
Go. You understand? Or like when I was in school getting pulled in the principal's office, like I remember the people I was just with, like walking by and laughing.
So you recognize real quick that your friends ain't your friends.
You ain't got no friends. Now in this world, there's no such thing as friends.
I almost want to give you a bomb, but that's not true, dude.
Dog, it's
no,
facts.
that is not true. There are friends, dude. There are friends.
Let me say this.
You just got to be selective with them.
Let's rephrase it. They're stay away from the wrong type of friends. I had the wrong type of friends. You understand?
See the difference? Little difference.
A little tweak, just a little tweak.
But you said you ain't got no friends. That's not true.
Well,
you can find good people. Now, if you talk to someone and they say they got a lot of friends, you already know that ain't true.
Stay away from a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. You understand? There's no way that you can be friends with everybody. No dissenting opinions among you. Impossible. Makes no sense.
Hey.
So I learned young, man.
I'll give that one a bomb.
Oh, man, we might go for a world record today.
But all I'm saying is there's a lot of people out there with these chips on their shoulder, and they'll hear what you're saying and agree with you. And I want people to know there are good people in the world. And there are people that wouldn't screw you, and they're totally fine. But, dude, they're just few and far between nowadays.
Well, they need to take it in the context in which we discussed it. We're talking about the perspective of a 10-year-old child. Right? We're not saying that's the way I believe now.
Well, of course.
You know what I'm saying? But at 10 years old, that's the way my mind could compute. And that was the conclusion it came to. So
I got no friends.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I started to look at people. Now, I didn't even act on that epiphany right that second. It took me 2 more years. And then when I was 12 was when I said, I don't want to be around anyone. I don't want to know anybody. And then I kind of came back outside around 16, 17. And then, you know, once I was like 17, 18, I never went back in the house. That was it.
Yeah, but dude, that's kind of a blessing. Would you agree? Because you learned early that you got to depend on yourself. Ain't no one coming to save you.
Yeah. It taught me one thing, that when I was back outside later, it definitely gave me the insight in. It gave me like I wish I could. It was like what are those metal things that people use, like a tuning fork, that I was able to use all the time when dealing with people, and it just never allowed me to fall into this trust factor with people who didn't deserve it. I always look at people like I'll give you an askance eye all the time, and, you know, from the side, because I don't know what's going on with you. You gotta really prove it for real.
And someone might be trying to get up one on you.
Yeah, of course, all the time. In that environment, that's all people are doing, man.
Yeah, but you don't do that currently, do you?
Look at people with a side eye?
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Business is no different from the street.
Well,
come on, dog. There's some of the most vicious people in the world in business.
That is true. But I've found that if you expect it to happen, it usually does. So like you can't walk around with this suspicious, you know, I'm watching you bastards, because then you're going to find it. That's what you're looking for.
No.
Yeah, dude. Like if you do an exercise with somebody and you say, okay, do this exercise next time you're in a room full of people. Say, look around the room and count how many things that you see that are red. And they'll look around, give them a few seconds, and then say, okay, now tell me how many green things are in the room. And no one will know because they didn't look for anything green. Mm-hmm. They're literally, they can tell you there were 8 red things, but they won't be able to tell you how many green things there were. Even though they noticed the same things, they can't say it because they weren't looking for it. When you look for something, you recognize it. So if you're looking for someone to screw you, you're going to find it. Now, you think that is safer than looking at stuff cautiously. Again, I agree with caution, but side-eyeing people?
I think, you know, maybe the way I delivered it made it sound extreme. I'm not into confirmation biases. I'm not walking in the room to get my confirmation bias, you know, to get it. I don't know what the word I'm looking for right now is, to get it confirmed. Like, I'm not looking for that, but I'm very much aware at how humans behave.
Yeah, and they will screw you.
Yes, they will. And anyone who says different is a nutcase. And I'm very much aware of that, and I keep that in the back of my mind because I know I'm not looking to screw anybody. You don't have to worry about me, but you don't know that. You understand?
I know it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I generally trust people. Is that a mistake?
No, I don't think look, you trust people, bro, but I understand even you, the way that you are. You've built your boundaries, and people are not coming beyond those boundaries unless they're tried, true, battle tested, and even then you may still have a couple more to get past. And that's okay. You
don't see the inner boundaries until you get past the outer boundaries.
That's right. And that's totally fine. That's the way it should be. Everyone should have boundaries. I have mine, and I make sure that they're not crossed. And if you cross them within the preliminary meeting or the preliminary interaction, then I know we'll never be anything more than a person who recognizes each other in passing.
So you used to be a rapper or battle rapper.
Yeah, I was a rapper and a battle rapper, music producer overall, vocalist, all that stuff.
That's how you know sound and all that?
That's how I learned sound, and that's how I was able to produce your book, because I was a mix engineer and a master engineer as well.
So battle rapping is fun. I like watching it. Yeah. And quite frankly, when I was younger, I'd get into some. Yeah. It was pretty good. That's why I challenged you. But with your newfound faith, not newfound, but your conviction, I'll say, because you're a convicted individual when it comes to the ways of, the world and spiritually.
Yeah, I'm convicted in my beliefs, like for 100%. I'm not saying I'm a perfect practitioner of what I believe, but I'm convicted that it's true, no matter whether I'm in the right or the wrong. But being a battle rapper, it was fun, sometimes.
But you wouldn't do it right now.
No.
Just like I tried to take him gambling or something, I forget, and just like you wouldn't bet, you wouldn't, you don't participate in the the festivities of life.
No, well, you can call it that. I call it something different. But with battle rapping, I told you, I told you I'm good at this. I was doing this a long time. I told you I've been doing this for years. But with battle rapping, I did it professionally, meaning I got paid for it. So it took a lot out of me to have to think about some other dude for 30 days and craft rounds, sometimes unlimited, commit them to memory, fly across the country, body this dude, and then do it again next month. So it was.
What if you'd have ran into Rabbit?
Who's that? Eminem?
Yeah.
He would have got cooked like anybody else.
Oh, now I got to hear some.
Smoked his boots. I'm going to show you when this is over. I'm going to show you on YouTube what I used to do. They're still all up.
Where do people go see them?
I'm not going to tell them. I don't want nobody to see that. So I can't tell them the name or anything like that. But unfortunately, they're still on YouTube. I haven't gotten them.
But you'll show me?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Dude, I don't know if there's a better battle rapper than old Eminem.
He's amazing at what he does, but you got to understand, in the culture I come from, we all agree that Eminem is dead nice, but in the environment of the hood or the ghetto, whatever you want to call it, like Eminem is not considered because we can't relate to Eminem. But we all agree he's dead nice and he will fry you if you play around. But I did this for a living. This was not, Eminem is a rap artist. I was a battle rapper. He battle
How much you get paid when you win one?
Man, I mean, probably at the height, I wasn't getting paid a whole bunch of bread. I probably got $1,000, $1,500 or something like that every time. And I would battle a few times a year amongst whatever I was doing on the side to get money. So, I mean, I wasn't, but if I was one of those guys who made it to the height of the battle scene, some of these guys get 6 figures to do this. Like the real legendary guys get a lot of money.
What about, you ain't gonna do a freestyle?
I only do pay styles. I don't do freestyles.
How much does it cost?
It's gonna cost a lot more than $1,500 or $1,000. That's for sure.
How much would it cost if I said, "Dude, I'll pay you to do a freestyle right now on me"?
Man, send me 10 bands and we got something to talk about. I got some cuss-free raps up in the old nugget. Huh?
So 10 bands would cost.
10 bands to get you a little hot 16. You heard? This the side of BL y'all don't get to see. This is how me and him are all the time.
What's a hot 16?
16 bars, dogs. Nice 16 stanzas right on your forehead, huh? Huh? How you want it?
Anybody got 10 bands they want to wire in? He'll give you 16 right on the dome.
Man. Right on your dome.
Hey, dude, I'd want a battle rap though, just because I mean I gotta hear when people are doing it and watching them, I start thinking of things that I could say that are a little bit funny. So I think my shit would be funny and like but it wouldn't be like deep.
Yeah.
And then also when I see some battle raps, dude, I watch one guy and then watch him again and pretty soon you realize he's pulling back a lot of that same shit. Like he's got some standards in there. The old standards, I bet.
Well, we call that like, so if me and you were to start freestyling and you hear me say something that you've heard me say before, you will get bodied for that in a real battle. Like that's called recycling. And the only thing we recycle at Coffee Mobile is electronics. Is that my camera? CoffeeMobile.com, by the way, with a K. But in battle rap, you can't do that. Or if it sounds like you pre-wrote it, there's a thing called pre-meds. So as a battle rapper, you're walking around with bars in your head all day, and you might remember a punchline or two. Whereas if you didn't write a whole rap, but you might have 2 bars that if someone try you could mix it in with a freestyle. That's kind of frowned upon too. But a real freestyling technically in hip hop is reciting your written raps. You understand? But it's called off the dome when you're rhyming with no basis for it, or you might throw me a word and be like peanut butter. You understand what I'm saying? Or you might tell me to rap about mayonnaise. You know what I'm saying?
And you just go from there?
And you just go with it. You know what I'm saying?
But battle rapping is about slamming the other dude.
Battle rapping is about degrading your opponent to the degree but you could have battles where, like back in the day, they had guys who might memorize a whole bunch of their raps, and they didn't know who they were going to battle. So they had to, what we call keeping your clip full. You might have had 100 raps because you might run into Brad Lee from up the block, and everyone know Brad is nice, and Brad has 100 raps. Well, it wasn't tailored for you. So now I'm just exercising. I'm better than you at rapping. So whoever has the better bars between the two of you is going to win that battle. But my profession was I crafted these rounds for you. I'm going to fry everything from the top of your head to the grays in your beard. I'm frying it all.
And then I'm going to shoot back.
And you got to shoot back at me. You better have those rounds crafted. And if you forget
you don't craft them. You bring them up based on what you heard.
Well, that's called a rebuttal.
And then you go through them word for word. Okay, see, I'm doing it right now and don't even know it.
What are you going to rhyme it with the word poet? I think
I'm motherfucking Longfellow and my feet show it.
Okay, I thought you were going to rhyme poet with
see,
it.
That's off the dome.
That was off the dome. So that's an off the dome freestyle right there. Because you didn't write it.
No, I didn't write it.
Right.
But what I recited earlier about the camp counselor, I remembered that.
You actually wrote that and remembered it?
I remember it from way back then.
God dang, how long ago was that?
Shit, dude. 40 years probably.
Hey, that wasn't that bad for 40 years ago, though.
Yeah, I got a good memory. So let's get back to entrepreneurship. So eventually you got out of the battle rap. You found a little more faith, or have you always been real faithful?
I'm not going to say I've always believed God is real, and I believed what I believe, but you know, it took a lot of learning for me to understand that a lot of what I was taught was wrong.
Yeah, but you stopped drink. What did you ever drink? Smoke?
I did.
You stopped all that.
Yeah.
And now you're walking.
Yeah.
A narrower path. What was the catalyst?
Everything. I used to do it all.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to figure out what made you just say, "Hey, this is wrong. I ain't doing it."
Cold turkey. All right, so it was not just one thing. It was steps. Like 2014, I quit smoking cigarettes because it was just bad. And I said to myself, I don't think there's an upstanding woman out there who wants to marry a man who smokes cigarettes. Not the type of woman I was looking for. So I said, cigarettes gotta go. They make you stink, and I don't even look like the type of dude who should be smoking. It just didn't look good on me.
They age your skin.
Yeah, I was definitely for real addicted though. Like I was like a pack a day dude.
So was I.
At some point, you know. So Lord, by God's grace, I was just able to quit one day cold turkey, and that was in 2014, and I never did it again. And then,
but you still drank?
I did still drink. You know, I would smoke a cigar here and there or something like that. And in 2017. One of my friends, a former friend of mine, displayed a propensity to consume alcohol in excess. And I felt like that thing was actually transferable. And I said, I don't want to be the type of guy who ends up doing the same thing. And I know in my background of family, I got a lot of alcoholics and people who have a propensity to indulge in alcohol to levels unknown. And I said, I don't want to be like that. So I quit cold turkey on alcohol. And that was just a fear-based decision. Like, I don't want to be the person to get caught up in this. And I started thinking I was liking it a little too much. And that was in like 2017. And
so there was no big pivotal moment. You just kept realizing this shit's no good.
Yes. And but the actual, like, I can no longer participate in secular music, and I can't, to the best of my ability, I'm going to try to clean up my language and live a certain way. That happened after I got baptized in 2020.
But what made that happen?
Me getting baptized? Just watching the message of my pastor, Pastor Gino Jennings, based out of Philadelphia, and measuring up a lot of what he said, going in the scriptures, reading it for myself, because I didn't trust him either. I'm not taking people's word for it. So I went in the word, read it for myself, confirmed what he said was correct, measured it against what I was taught, realized what I was taught was not in what I was reading. And then I said, all right, if 2019, I went on a journey to do better and believe more in God. And that journey led me to the word that I'm in right now. And I was watching a lot of false prophets, like a lot of fake pastors, the money guys, and you got to give a gift and God's got a miracle with your name on it and all them weird dudes. And that's the way we grew up. I didn't know it was wrong until I started watching my pastor. And then once I realized all the stuff I was watching wasn't making any sense, and what was in the Bible had nothing to do with what these people were talking about, then I had to make a real change. Some days I almost regret it, because it's like, now I'm responsible because I found the truth and it's in the scripture, and now I have to live up to it. I wish I didn't see it sometimes. Ignorance is bliss sometimes,
Hey.
So it's a crazy situation, but now it's a strict life. It ain't what people think, man. It ain't fun.
Yeah, but that's how you're able to build a business and deal with the trials and tribulations.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that whole Craigslist thing of, from when I first sold my own phone to a person and bought one from another guy, and I realized, man, I could maybe make $50 if I know what to buy it for. Maybe I can buy it for $300 and sell it for $350. That's how the whole thing got started. But all those years I was rapping and doing all type of stuff trying to get money. I didn't get serious about this until 2018. I really went full time, and I said, babe, talked to my wife, I'm not doing a street thing because I'm too old, and I'm not going back to someone's job. I'm not about to have a bunch of weird people telling me what to do, telling me what time I need to be in, like just controlling me. Like, I'm not a person you can control, and I'm not going to believe you just because you got money or just because you had some success. Like, I don't care about that. Like, it doesn't matter to me. You got to be a real upstanding person, like that's why I rock with you, because you're a real person. You understand?
You see truth and integrity when you can view people. Like, if you ask me, I can always kind of sense who's ethical and does what they say. And, I kind of feel a different energy from people that'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah. They always got it's a little uneasiness there. Like, it's real slithery. The eyes are always shifting. Something's always off. Something's always off.
Now, well, I keep wanting to go back to the Bible, but we'll not talk about that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I want to talk about Coffee Mobile. So okay. You went from there to there, but now you're here. Now now you're in high transaction. How can the Bomb Squad benefit? They get cheaper phones. So folks, if anybody's thinking of buying a brand new phone, go to Coffee Mobile and see if they already got it for how much cheaper are refurbished phones? I
mean, sometimes we can get them 20-30% less, on average. Even we have an Apple account where we can get new stuff for 10% less. So, just by having an Apple account. But mainly what I focus on, we want to buy, because our greater overall mission, and this is written in our mission statement, is to, limit the amount of electronic waste. Most these devices that people don't recycle, they're going to end up in a landfill somewhere. Why? when we could use the parts. There's money in these phones that we can pull out, whether it's an old motherboard or a battery or a screen or something. So the goal is to extend the life cycle of a device by recycling it. What does that mean? You're taking out of the cycle to refurbish it, and then you're reintroducing it into the cycle, and that extends the life cycle of the device so it doesn't have to reach end of life as early as it would. Does that make sense?
Sure, I got a bunch of end of lives laying around that had plenty of life.
Right. So that's the main thing. So our focus is really sourcing and buying. You can buy from us if you want to, but how the Bomb Squad can benefit is just simply sell me your stuff. You got some stuff laying around in a drawer, hit up coffeemobile.com, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll work with you. Whatever you got, I'll shoot you a quote if you like it. Send the stuff in and I'll pay you however you want.
It's just the squad now.
Oh, just the squad. Just the squad. Did I say the B word?
Sure
the
did.
B word by accident. Sorry about that, y'all.
You never know what that do.
Yeah, especially on IG. We don't know what the Zuck is up to.
So what is your plan to grow and scale this business?
Focus solely on landing corporate accounts. That is the only way I see this to be scalable. Landing corporate accounts. Focusing on companies more than individuals. I will still deal with individuals, but I've automated that process through coffeemobile.com, where people can just go, click, say what they have, send it in, and we pay them. So that part's taken care of. But even a company could go to Coffee Mobile. We have a form you could fill out, sell in bulk, and tell us what you have, and I'll come out to the office and whatever, put you on a net 30, pay you within 30 days. It's so simple.
Just phones or anything?
No, phones, laptops, tablets. We kind of shy away from the desktop thing because they're just a headache to deal with, monitors and TVs and big tall towers and stuff. But if the specifications of the device make sense, we still buy those too. You got a 2017 iMac, I ain't going to tell you no.
Because you know where to get rid of it.
Yeah, I know where to get rid of it, or I might need it for my office. I might use it to edit on it or something like that. I've bought stuff off people many times and just kept it.
So you're still in the throes of entrepreneurship.
Man, listen, am I in it? I'm freaking nose deep in this thing, brother.
What do you tell people that are thinking about starting a business? What would you say to them?
Don't. Go to Brad's event on the 25th and freaking learn how to buy a business. I'm telling you, if you're not
buying them is easier than building them.
Isn't it though? Let's get into that.
Well, dude, I mean, again, that's why I'm having an event on the 25th. Sounds like a commercial, but January 25th, downstairs, my luxury private training center.
You and Chad, right?
Yeah.
Peterson.
Well, I got to bring Chad because he's the real expert. I'm just highly interested myself. Mm-hmm. Because, dude, what he's teaching you basically is how to find a cash flowing business that you can buy with very little down. And now you walk in as the boss with an automatic cash flow. So you don't need a job because you just bought one.
Right.
And now you're in charge at least. So you at least feel good. And then there's a process in which you literally, if you wanted to, scale up to a bigger and bigger and bigger business, same method. And so, 2025 is going to be huge, and you're buying businesses that are already past the throes of entrepreneurship.
They're past the gestational period, if you will.
They've already figured out the systems and the processes.
That's right.
And they've already, survived the risky times. Because most startups and entrepreneurship stage companies, they're not really very successful. Like, not very many of them last or survive, mainly because of all the risk and all the missteps and everything. So when you see a cash flowing business that's already past that stage,
why not?
Why not just buy it?
I'm gonna tell you,
screw building it.
This is why I thought you were such a genius for doing this, because I think that's the real future of entering into the entrepreneurial marketplace for people who might not have the knowledge, or they might not want to go through the peaks and valleys like most businesses.
Yeah, that's called a franchise.
Right. But most businesses die in that trial and error period. You see what I'm saying? Most people don't even get to where I'm at, where at least they know what trajectory they need to be on. They know the next step to grow and scale. Most people just die in the I don't know what else to do next. So I think it's going to be the future of people just walking in. I got some money to invest and I'm going to take this business over, or I'm going to keep everybody in place here and I'm just going to take a drip and let the thing. So that's why I brought that up, because that's very interesting even to me. So when I'm in a position, I don't want to run this company anymore, dude. I want to find a way out.
Well, there's a couple ways to exit, but exiting a business isn't always the wisest thing if it's an asset, because what I've learned is if you want to get truly wealthy, you want to collect assets, cash flowing assets. That's to be specific. And it doesn't have to be real estate.
Right.
It can be a business that throws off 10 grand a month. That, my friend, is an asset.
That's right.
It's not an asset if you have to work it and be in it and sell your time. But if you can buy a business that was operating before you owned it, why does it need you all of a sudden to operate?
Right.
It doesn't. And everybody that was operating it is required to stay there and continue to operate it. It's not like they can sell you a business and walk out the door. They have to train you. They have to give it to you in good working order. You have to have a full understanding. Like, that's part of the obligations of selling your business.
Right.
So for someone not to want to buy a business, it's nuts. And then everyone thinks they need a bunch of money. We're going to show literally 23-year-olds how to buy a business with little money.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably, and I'm just guessing here, I'm not an expert in any way in this, but I'm just guessing for conversation's sake. It wouldn't be any different than if you found a tired landlord that owns 100 units.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. They might even be willing to do some creative financing with you to get that thing off of their hands faster and sit back and collect a little bit, or they're willing to work something out creative where you're not coming out of pocket so much money and you still can take possession of the asset. Does that make sense?
As long as you make your payments, they're good.
Right. So I don't see why it would be any different with a business. It might actually be quite easier because
assuming you don't go in and screw it up, it's possible to go screw up the business.
Of course.
I mean, that RV investment I did, I just trusted a couple high school buddies that said they know what they were doing. They went and screwed up a 20-year-old business.
Really? I would have thought RV would be crushing.
During COVID, it was great.
Yeah.
But then they kept everybody going and didn't know how to do the opposite of scaling, which is cut back.
Yeah, scale back. Okay.
You got to scale back sometimes. If you're cranking up because the economy's good and everything's wonderful, and you get up to where your nut is 500 grand a month,
right,
and then all of a sudden shit like COVID or like nothing you've ever seen happens, right, and it causes an immediate downturn in revenue. Well, then you go to the people that came in last and you start cutting.
Right.
All the way down. Now, I'm the type of guy that, I'll give up mine if that solves it, so no one else has to, because everybody needs to live and eat and feed their families. But if it got to a point where it's like, oh shit, which it got with those guys, they should have just let people go. Like, we can't sustain and pay you anymore, Mark. Sorry, brother. I don't know what to tell you, man, but hey, be cool, and maybe I'll call you back when shit gets better.
Right.
Be a dick, and nothing changes, bro, except now I won't call you back when something gets better. Like, there's a way to let people go and just tell the truth.
Yeah.
And if they're real people, guess what they'll say?
They'll understand.
I understand, dude. That sucks, man. Anything I can do to help you out? Well, dude, if you want to, delay your paycheck, I still need your help. I just can't pay you. Now, dude, 3 or 4 people do that on a work team. Now you know who's really with you.
Right.
That's why I said there's good people out there. They're just few and far between.
Yeah.
But still, the point is yeah, that's buying businesses. And in 2025, I'm going to be buying businesses. So I said, let's teach some people that want to do this, because I'm not the only one that thinks like this. There's a bunch of people that know, hey, building businesses is for the birds, and us crazy people.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
why not just buy them?
What do you think private equity and venture capitalism is?
Yeah, and by the way, that's the big boys game.
Right.
Now you're really talking.
Now you're talking.
So again, once you learn the games, then you learn they have levels.
Right.
And like buying businesses, mergers and acquisitions, dude, that's a game. And you can roll up 10 companies, put them under one set of books, and then get even like 3 more multiples on the same number you just rolled up. So like I go buy a $2 million business, 5 different ones, that's a $10 million business.
Right.
Well, a $2 million business might have a 3 or 4X
Right.
But a $10 million business has a 6X. So if you just roll them up
Now it's worth 60.
and sell it, you're making the spread, even though you gave all the owners their money. And you know, you rolled it up under one and then sold it for even more multiple.
You just put
nothing
together-
changed, and you just got a bigger multiple because you basically aggregated them all into one. And then this now company wants that revenue, so it pays 6 times. And then guess what they're doing? They're going to roll up a bunch of those and they're going to go sell it for 8 times. And then guess what they're doing? They're going to roll it into a bunch of those and they're going to sell it to 12 times and maybe even 20, 30, depending on the company, and then offer it for shares, IPO, public.
So it's just
the money comes
aggregating
from the public, and that's how it gets done. So when you see these quarterly earnings on the stock market, it could be, oh, they made $500 million. No, they just bought 5 companies that made $100 million each. So they didn't make any more money. But it looks like they hit their bonus and their quarterly and all that shit. And then some of them were, you know, sucking out huge compensation plans, and some of them were like legit. But the stock market, dude, that's where a lot of the money's coming from when these guys are swapping businesses in the VC and PE markets. They're just buying revenue.
Okay.
It's crazy when you start looking at it. I mean, I'm nowhere near knowing that, but you know, I'm doing the business acquisitions, real estate, because dude, anybody that has the will to work can go into real estate and make some money. Now, you were doing that a little bit.
I was.
What happened there?
Wholesaling. I think the last time I was doing it, I was running around all over the place, putting out bandit signs, calling sellers, attending the RIA meeting. And actually what took place was I bumped into some people who had aggregated a source of devices for Coffee Mobile, and I had like a run where I ran up a crazy bag, and it just kind of fell by the wayside because, you know, I always keep the main thing. That's one rule I don't break.
So you got distracted by making money.
Well, no, I didn't get distracted because Coffee Mobile had slowed down some. So I said, let me focus on the real estate thing because I know what I'm doing over here. But it actually picked up crazy out of nowhere.
And now boom.
And then I just said, hey, I got to focus on this because it's always the goal. This is the goal. I'm going to do real estate. I will do it here in Las Vegas. I'm just not sure exactly how I'm going to attack it if I want to take the wholesale route. Because calling sellers and cold calling on, man, that stuff sucks, man. Let's keep it real, man.
Does it?
It's trash, man. Tell the truth. This is stuff that makes me mad about these people, man. They selling this foolishness out here and they're not telling you the truth.
Well, I tell you the truth, though.
You tell me the truth, yes, but a lot of these people are not telling you the truth, man. Now,
You're talking about like learning courses and shit?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Well,
like,
again, but let's talk about this for a minute because a lot of people are always, you know, quick to judge. But I say this: if they haven't done it already, then what makes you think they know what they're doing? Right. And if it's so damn valuable, why ain't they doing it too? So if I'm going to go find somebody to teach me something, number one, they either are doing it or have already done it in a degree that I'm trying to emulate.
Right.
Step one.
And you know, it's funny because I was talking to Grant Cardone the other day on the phone. Me and him were talking about
Uncle G?
Old Uncle G. Me and him were talking on the phone, and I was asking him, I'm like, Unc, you think I have to hit a certain threshold in revenue before I start teaching people what I do? Because I've never been comfortable just jumping out the window trying to play the guru role. I thought that's
called imposter syndrome.
I don't know. I call it being real and being fake. Like, I want to know the guidelines, like from the experts like you and from Unc and people I have access to talk to. And he was like, well, how much you making now? I told him. He's like, man, that's more than enough. Just don't go out there trying to sell that you're making more than you're making.
Yeah, be real.
Just be real about what you're able to teach people. So
that's the best coaches, the ones that can reach back to who they used to be,
right, and
help those people get to where they currently are.
That's how the saying goes, right? You're most qualified to help those who you used to be, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what you do. Is like you figure your way out, and then you go, hey, I've gotten out. Maybe I can help you out. Now you go reach back and help the people that you used to be out, and then now you have more people helping to get people out, and pretty soon this is all empty, and you find out you're now the new, broke dude. You're just on a new level of broke. And now you go, shit, I should have been thinking bigger. And then you learn more shit. And now you bump up again and you're like, hey, fellas, there's a whole nother game over here. Then they all get over there and you realize, shit, we're all on the same level again. But that never happens because people don't listen and people don't execute. People don't implement. People think it's a scam. Yeah. They don't have personal belief. They have doubt and fear, instant gratification, victim mentality, no confidence, poor habits, no sense of urgency.
Well, that's one thing I learned from you, man. I had to increase my skill sets. I had to work on my mindset, and I have to constantly be working on my habits on a daily basis.
Well, those are the 3 cores right there.
Right. So once I learned that those things are what I need to be focusing on, there are 3 questions that I want to answer for myself, and all people should answer in 2025 for themselves. What's mindset, skill sets, and habits should I be implementing? What am I missing in my business? And the most important question, who am I missing in my business? Because it all boils down to the who.
All the way up to the very high, the most high.
The most, ooh. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
But that's for real. So what's next for Mark Days? What can the squad do for you?
Well, squad, reach out to me. Sell me all your electronics. Don't hoard them. Let's turn that into some money. Let's start there. If you're interested in learning the business, you can reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you. I'm more into providing value. I know I don't have a course yet. You'll know when I have one because I'm going to do it with Brad. We're going to do a nice.
If he ever does one, it's on Lightspeed VT.
That is an absolute figgity fact. That's in the hood. We call it a Fendi.
Hey, and by the way, here's even more Fendi for you. If anybody has a course and they're not on Lightspeed, they either don't know or they don't care. Why do I say that? Because if you ain't on Lightspeed, you're not really training people. Mm-hmm. You're selling them a video, and a video doesn't train you. Otherwise, I'd be a mixed martial artist because I watch UFC every single weekend.
That's right.
So watching videos doesn't do it. You need good content with repetition, practice, and accountability.
That's it, good content.
So if they're not on Lightspeed, they're not training you. They're selling you a video.
And a dream.
So I'd be suspect already.
They selling you a dream, dog. Because how you going to bring that thing to fruition that they talking about if they don't have the right?
Well, even with videos that these guys sell, claiming that it's training, if somebody's really disciplined and smart, the information's there. They can voluntarily do enough repetition. Most don't. They can test themselves. They can practice themselves, and they can hold themselves accountable. Like individuals have the power to do that, but they don't. Why? Right. It's uncomfortable. So usually, you need a system or a technology to help that get done.
And it's a gross disservice that you do to the end user when you leave it up to them to extrapolate information that you designed. That doesn't make any sense. If you have a message you're trying to get across, you need to make it as easy as possible for the person who's consuming that message to understand it, or you're wasting all of our time.
Well, you need a little bit more familiarity with the word communication. See, communication is about what's received, not what's said. Most people think communication is about speaking. Mm-hmm. Well, it kind of is, but it's more about receiving. Like, what are you hearing me say is more important than what I'm saying. Because if I'm saying one thing and you're hearing another,
that's a problem.
Well, if you're not understanding me, there's no communication, correct?
Right.
Well, then in order for there to be communication, you have to receive it well.
Right.
So the art of communication is making sure people understand and clearly get it. Clarity is the key to communication. That's why I say, I'm an expert communicator. Why? Because I keep it simple. I dumb it down. I don't go the opposite. I don't say, well, Mark, that was a fabulous dissertation on your past. I think if we could extrapolate some of the lessons that you've learned and employ them in our own lives, I think we'd benefit greatly, if not most abundant.
Infinitely. Yeah.
Like what's
we would benefit in perpetuity.
Yes, we would. Our benefit would be perpetuous. Yeah, perpetual
benefits.
This is wonderful. I love $10 words. I go the opposite route.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, here's what it means. Bottom line, bang, bang, bang. Now, someone doesn't like that delivery because it's more disguised as the truth. And the truth is the light. And the light is in my mind, where you want to live. You want to live in the light, not the darkness. The darkness, there's confusion, there's fear, there's doubt, there's anxiety, there's like the dark.
Hey, God is not the author of confusion, dog.
And by the way, dude, light and dark, at the end of the day, people don't always like the truth.
That's true.
And it hurts because they got to look inward, which is where you should be looking.
It does hurt.
So sometimes my delivery doesn't get taken as intended, but I always say love ain't lies, dude. Heard Wes Watson say that. And I'm like, dude, that's true, bro. That's true. Love ain't lies. So when you sitting there, buddy with the dude that's kissing your ass and you don't like the dude that told you the truth because you didn't like the truth, I'd be looking around going, which one's truly my friend? The one not saying anything or the one that told me? Because I'd want to pick the one that told me, even though I might have got pissed about it.
That's right.
Love ain't lies.
That's right.
All right, what else can they do? Follow him at The Real Mark Days. That's where you follow him. Go see what he's up to, bouncing around, keeping up with his escapades. If you want to support the company, then go to Coffee Mobile and sell them your damn devices or buy some for cheaper. Otherwise, just support us both by sharing this out. Don't be cheap. Okay? We're dropping knowledge. If you didn't need it, pass it on to the next fella.
That's right.
Then maybe part 2, you'll see me and him battle rap and me body his ass. Is that what it is?
You would never see.
Dude, I'll body your ass, especially if I get a little practice.
I will smoke your boots until next week.
Well, you might be able to, but dude, I'd have to hear your shit or your stuff first.
You're going to hear it right after we done.
Dude, this whole thing, I didn't drop one and got slipped at the end.
You're gonna hear it right after this.
By the way, folks, this was a clean version. Make sure whoever uploads this doesn't put the E for explicit.
Huh?
Till next time, keep it real.